Welcome to the Productivity Show, a podcast where we believe you can get the important things done without sacrificing your health, your family, and things that matter to you. My name is Brooks from Asian Efficiency, where we help people become more productive at work and in life. And today is another Wisdom Wednesday episode, where you'll get actionable productivity advice in less than 10 minutes. And the topic today is the RISE ritual. It is one of the skills we teach in our 25X Productivity System course. And honestly, it is one of the keystone productivity habits. Because think about it, right? What do you think is the most important time of the day? Well, in our experience, the most important time of the day is the first 90 minutes of your day because really it sets the tone for everything that happens after. If you have a tough start to your day, you're probably going to have the rest of your day not go so well. If you get started positively and with energy, well, things are likely going to fall into place for you. It's just how these things happen, right? The start of your day is so important that you don't want to leave it to chance. You want to take control and be intentional with your time so you set yourself up for success throughout the rest of your day. And for that, enter the RISE ritual. A RISE ritual is a set of repeatable steps that you follow when you start your day. And if you Google something like top productivity tips, there's always something that will always show up, and that is create a morning routine. I'm sure you've heard that a million times. Well, the problem with that is not everyone's a morning person to start with, or not everyone has a schedule where the morning is the start of the day or the start when things really happen. So that's one of the reasons why we call it a rise ritual. Whatever time it is that you get started, you can put your rise ritual into place. And this is important because there's an impression out there that we're always trying to fight against, which is to be really productive, you have to wake up at 5 a.m. and start hashtag crushing it. But it's just not true. The time doesn't matter, it's what you do that matters. And so let's talk about building your rise ritual. Because here's the problem with morning routines or rise rituals. When we want to create our own, what do we do? Well, if you're like most people, I've done it too. You start Googling around and reading stuff, and you find examples of other people's routines. And there's nothing wrong with taking inspiration. Like I said, I do it too. But what happens is when we try to copy someone else, our life might be totally different than theirs. And what is important to them might not be important to you. If you have kids, trying to copy the rise ritual of someone else who doesn't have kids is just not going to work, for example. So take inspiration, sure, but don't copy. Instead, we think a better approach is to focus on categories. If you can create a rise ritual that hits some of the following categories, you're probably going to be in good shape. So try to have something that maybe includes movements. That could be exercising, could be stretching, whatever it is. Maybe mind, could be reading, could be gratitude, that type of thing. Could be planning. Maybe you're planning out your day or doing affirmations or something like that. Could be food or drink, unless you're doing intermittent fasting or something like that. Maybe you like your coffee. Maybe there's certain foods you like to get started in the day. That could be part of it. Could be family. Maybe your day starts with getting your lunch ready for the kids. I know for me, when my kids were younger, that was a big part of my rise ritual is that. Or it could be honestly whatever else works for you. There could be any sorts of things that you want to have in your rise ritual. The important thing is that it's something that is important to you. That is the key. Whatever you do, I would highly recommend starting very simply. The reason that a lot of us have trouble being consistent with a rise ritual is we try to create this big long one that checks off all the boxes and hits everything we want to do, or maybe we think we should do. Remember, I gave those categories before, but it doesn't necessarily mean you want to do something from every single category. That's not what we're saying. It's much better to start with just a few things, get consistent, and then if it makes sense, add on to what you're already doing. That's honestly the number one tip that I can give you for creating a rise ritual and being consistent is get started simply. And finally, once you get started, things will come up. There will be days where you don't feel well, or maybe you're interrupted. This is especially true if you have kids. Maybe you'll have a crazy morning. From time to time, something will always come up to disrupt your rise ritual. That's okay and it's totally expected. So, first, be flexible and understand that sometimes you're going to need to modify things. Maybe you can only do half of it some days. Maybe you'll do everything but a shorter version. Flexibility really is key. And second, there's going to be times that you miss your rise ritual altogether. That is okay too, but remember, missing once is not a big deal. It happens. Forgive yourself and move on. But missing twice, then you're in a danger zone for dropping the habit, and that's not what we want. So do whatever you can to not miss your rise ritual twice. Even if the second time has to be a much shortened version, that's okay. Keeping momentum is much more important than perfection. So to get started, come up with one or two things that you want to do in your rise ritual and come up with a realistic time that has a good chance of being successful. Set a reminder or an alarm or whatever you need to do to start doing your rise ritual tomorrow and keep it going as many times as you can for a week. Then, after that week, evaluate and improve and go forward with that. Thanks so much for listening to the Productivity Show, and I will see you next time.